Needless Things Podcast. Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest episode of the Needless Things Podcast, where we talk about toys, movies, music, and all manner of pop culture dorkery. I am your host, Dave, and oh, what a day I've had. And I mean that in a good way. That actually sounded kind of like sassy, and I meant it to be completely genuine. So, first thing that happened today is I got up and I posted the date for the world premiere of Troublemaker, the documentary about my weird life, shot by the Emmy award-winning Jason C. Wilson over the course of about 13 months, following me from the Halloween Puck and Fuppet Show in 2016 up through really February of 2018. So just over a year of my life, certain things were shot of my activities as Phantom Troublemaker, including my unmasking at DragonCon in 2017. And I'm very, very proud of this movie. It is winning awards at film festivals. It's won Best Feature at 2 different festivals. It's been spotlighted at a few other. It's unbelievable, the response that it's been getting. And we are bringing the world premiere public viewing of Troublemaker to DragonCon this year as part of the American Sci-Fi Classics track. It's 10 p.m. Saturday night. More details are forthcoming. Right now, you can go to Facebook, and there's a Facebook event for Troublemaker world premiere and Q&A. And what we're going to be doing is at 10 p.m. on Saturday night at DragonCon, myself, Jason C. Wilson, and certain special guests are going to be hosting a viewing of the film, followed by a Q&A. All of this will be hosted by our friend Mike Gordon, who is the most professional and intelligent person that I know. I'm very excited that Mike agreed to do this. I'm very excited that DragonCon agreed to do this. This is a huge, huge deal, you guys, because obviously the film is very important to me. Obviously, DragonCon is a very important part of the film and very important to me. So the fact that these two things have come together in such a special way is just tremendous. We are going to have some very special giveaways. The first, I don't know what the print run is going to be yet, but our friend Belligerent Monkey designed a special movie poster just for this world premiere of Troublemaker, and we are doing a very limited print run. So first come, first serve, the first however many people to get into the room Saturday night will be receiving a very limited edition print of the movie poster for this event designed by Belligerent Monkey. This will never be printed again. This is the only time these will ever be given out, and we're going to give out however many we have, and that's the end of it. So that's for this event. I'm not going to make them available online later. That's the end of it. I'm so excited that these things are all coming together. DragonCon, Belligerent Monkey, the game show, Jason Wilson, who is an old friend of mine, extremely talented. I've watched the movie, the documentary, and it's like 56 minutes long. So you're not giving away 2 hours, 3 hours of your life at DragonCon. It's going to be slightly longer than a regular panel because we'll be showing the film and then doing a Q&A afterwards, and then we'll all go see Cybertronic Spree. Like, that's the after party, is we're all going to get shit-faced and go see Cybertronic Spree. So this is huge and wonderful, and obviously I'm very, very excited about it. So excited that I forgot to tell you that this week's episode of the Needless Things Podcast is talking about the media reveals, the media portion of the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con. Now, obviously, none of us were there, but we all watched from afar like everybody does. And myself, our head of research, Ryan Schweck, and our special guest, Mike Gordon, run down the biggest reveals, the biggest previews that happened at San Diego Comic-Con. Obviously, most of it is Marvel related, but we get a couple other things in there as well. We brought Mike Gordon in at the last minute, and I appreciate the heck out of him showing up and helping us out with this. Our pal Belligerent Monkey wasn't able to attend like he normally does, which is why last week the toy show was just me and Ryan, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to last week's episode of the Needless Things podcast, go back and check it out. Me and Ryan run down our favorite toy reveals from San Diego Comic-Con 2019. But this week is all media, movies, TV, whatever, with our pal Mike Gordon. So awesome. That was a good way to start the day. And already, I suck at social media. I'm terrible at self-promotion, but I feel like already the Facebook event for the world premiere has gotten a good response. I put up the image of the poster. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, Needless Things Podcast Facebook group, if you're not part of it, you should be. I shared everything everywhere, and I feel like the response has been pretty solid. I'm excited about this, and I'm excited that we're going to have stuff to give out, and the limited edition prints of the movie poster, or I guess of the world premiere poster, may not be the end of our giveaways. I'm working on more freebies, but we'll see what happens. I've spoken today to Mama Troublemaker about maybe doing a little investing in the event, so we may have a little more capital to play around with, and if we do, then we're going to load anybody who shows up for this world premiere. We're going to load you guys up with goodies. It's going to be a great time, and I'm so excited. And again, thank you to the American Sci-Fi Classics track for hosting this. Gary and Joe, as you all know, are the best. I am going to have them on the podcast next week because our official DragonCon coverage starts then. I've already got one show in the can for that. That'll be going up in August. And it's time, you guys. As of right now, we're less than a month away from DragonCon, the biggest event of the year, and I couldn't be more excited. So the other thing that happened today that was great, and I'll make it quick because we're almost out of intro time, I went to a new doctor. My old doctor, who I liked, has turned into a VIP practice. And what that means is you have to pay a monthly fee for each member of your family to continue going to this doctor. And while I like this doctor was not worth like $600 a month or however much it was. I mean, it was going to be a lot of money. So it was time to start looking for new doctors. And fortunately, Mrs. Troublemaker, one of her friends, recommended somebody to us. And I decided, well, I got to go because I've got the high cholesterol. I'm getting old. I'm overweight, although I'm working on it. I need to have a doctor. I need to have a doctor. At the age of 43 years old, if you don't have a regular practitioner, you're being very irresponsible. So today, went to the new doctor, and if you're following me on Instagram, Phantom Troublemaker, I put up in my stories, I did a little video of the waiting room. You guys, this place was like a queue for Disney World. It was insane. There was a waterfall. There was a giant fish tank. There were like artifacts from all over the world in glass cases. There were these long, comfortable benches to sit on. Like, I didn't feel like I was at a doctor's office. I felt like I was waiting to go ride on, like, Spirit of the Dragon Alive or some weird ride. And they got me, my appointment was 2:15. I showed up at 10 till 2 because I'm responsible and I knew there was going to be paperwork. They came and got me before 2 o'clock, before I was even done with the new patient paperwork. The guy comes out, he's like, hey, come on back. We'll go ahead and get this taken care of. You keep working on the paperwork. Okay, cool. They took my blood pressure. They looked at my ear, did all the stuff. I couldn't even finish the paperwork before my visit was entirely done. It was crazy. They drew my blood. The doctor came in. We had a conversation about my diet, my exercise, my health. He was really cool and was like, look, I'm here to tell you things you can do to take care of yourself. I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm not here to judge you, but I am going to do my best to get you healthy and keep you healthy and to monitor how you're doing. Really, really cool, nice guy. A couple of funny jokes. Went out. Went to try and finish filling out my paperwork, and the nurses were out there, and they were like, "Oh no, go ahead and sit down. We're ready for you. We're going to draw blood." They drew, a bunch of blood out of me, and they're like, "Okay, you're done." And I'm like, I haven't even finished my new patient paperwork. And they're like, "Well, just take a seat over there, make yourself comfortable, finish it up. When you're done, checkout's right over there, and you're good to go." And I sat down, I finished the last couple pages of paperwork, went back to the nurse. I was like, "Do I give this to you?" He's like, and the doctor comes back over, and he's like, "Oh, come here. Here, okay, I'll take this. This is for you. Give this to them. We'll get your records from your old doctor. Good to go. They'll set you up with a new appointment." I walk up to the checkout. We're done. I got out of there before 3 o'clock. It was crazy. I have never had an experience like that at a doctor, and I immediately called Mrs. Troublemaker, and I was like, "Look, I'm pretty sure these people are like Satan-worshipping cultists that want to steal my brain, because there's no way an actual medical facility was this cool, this efficient, and this nice." It was great. So that was kind of the other portion of my day. And then I came home and hung out with the family, because unfortunately Phantom Jr. goes back to school this coming Monday. So our time has been brief as far as hanging out. So we hung out a little bit. Me and the missus finished watching The Boys, which is absolutely fantastic. Everybody says the comic is great. I can't imagine it's better than the show, but I'm going to find out. And you guys, that's my day. Now it's just hit midnight, and I had to come down here, do this intro for you guys, because this episode's got to go up in 11 hours. So there you go. Now I'm going to play a little bit of music from our good friends, the Mystery Men. Please go check out mysterymenofsurf.com. Google the Mystery Men Surf. Find them on Facebook. They have a new album out. It's fantastic. And that's it. That's my intro. That's all I got for you. Now it's time to talk about movies and stuff from San Diego Comic-Con. So first, a little bit of Mystery Men, then a whole lot of movies. Phantomaniacs, it is time for part 2 of our San Diego Comic-Con 2019 coverage. Now, hopefully, everybody tuned into the Needless Things podcast last week and heard me and our head of research, Ryan, talking about all of the coolest toy reveals from this year's San Diego show. This week, though, Ryan is back. Welcome back, Ryan.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And we have brought in a third party to help us discuss all of the coolest media news from San Diego Comic-Con. And who better to fill that slot than Mr. Mike Gordon. Welcome back to the show, Mike.
Howdy. Always like to be referred to as a party.
You're a walking party. Just look at the shirts you wear.
Right.
Everywhere you go. So we've got to kick this one off. Ryan left us with a little cliffhanger, a little teaser last time, so we've got to fulfill that promise now. Ryan, what were you referring to?
Oh, so Starz is about to debut the Pennyworth show. Previews have come out for it. It looks fine. It just kind of seems to follow Alfred Pennyworth's younger years. I don't think there was a lot of buzz about it. Have y'all seen the preview for it?
Yeah. And I, for one, I'm a big fan of the idea of Alfred having the past that's rooted in the SAS and, like, being kind of a James Bond-ish type person. Like, I enjoy that. I think that's fun. I don't necessarily consider it to be the mainstream representation of Alfred, but I like the idea. And it certainly fits in very specific scenarios, does it not?
It does. And so the big exciting announcement is that it takes place in the Gotham universe. You know, I was so sad when Gotham ended.
We all were.
Which may be the best piece of superhero media that has ever been.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
And then at the end of the panel, they were like, "Oh, and by the way, this takes place in Gotham, and the Gotham universe. It has now vaulted this show to the top." And I kind of hope that it kind of does what Gotham did on Fox, where they try to play it straight for about half a season with what they already had, and then it just goes off the rails insane.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to see Ra's al Ghul again.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to totally be this is Pennyworth back in the 70s or 80s, whenever it takes place. But also the Riddler is here for some reason.
Or it'll be like Riddler's father or something.
Yeah. Man-Bat's going to be flying around. Booster Gold will show up somehow.
They never did. They never did Man-Bat on Gotham, did they?
Well, remember they did that one weird episode where somebody took the serum and turned into Man-Bat, essentially. But then he fell out a window and just flew away, and that was it. It was all right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So I'm super excited that some form of Gotham will be back.
This show, for me, has gone from I'm interested in seeing that to must-see TV.
Absolutely.
Mike, how are you feeling about the Pennyworth situation? Well, how did you feel about Gotham, first of all?
Well, I loved Gotham. I thought it was, batshit crazy, and loved every minute of it. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be able to catch Pennyworth. Isn't it? I think it's on something that I don't get. Right?
Is it Stars? Is that right?
Yeah.
Is it Stars?
It is.
I might be able to see that then. I'm not sure. I forget how many services I have at this point. But I haven't seen Stars in a while, so I think that's what Ash was on, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
so I should still have that. I think I'm still paying for that. Anyway, it's just we'll see how crazy it's going to be. I don't think, even though it takes place in the universe, I don't think it's going to be the same showrunners. So I don't know how crazy they're going to get. I mean, is Bruce going to end up being like Alfred and Martha's love child? I don't know. How crazy could it get,
See, I used to say that phrase about Gotham. How much crazier can it get? And then Gotham said, tune in next week and we'll show you.
Gotham said, hold my crack pipe.
Hold my crack pipe. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm curious to see it. So we'll find out.
So yeah, that's excellent intro. Pennyworth, like I said, interesting at first, but now you can't pass it up. And I think, you know what, Mike? Have you got maybe a TV tidbit, a little something else to sort of get us a little amuse-bouche before we head into the main course?
Well, all right. So if we're doing just a little sort of side thing, not a big thing, I have to say that I don't know if this is actually. I think it was. Yeah, this came out in San Diego, even though we'd known about it a little bit before then. But I think the that TV show, The Witcher on Netflix, looks like it could be just awesome.
So that show, they had released stills for it before and some video, and it looked like garbage. And then as San Diego, they showed that full trailer and all of it, and now it looks amazing. Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like this. It went from being that's kind of cool to I need to see this right when it comes out.
I'll admit to you guys, I haven't played the Witcher games. I really don't know anything about the Witcher at all. But I do follow Henry Cavill on Instagram because he seems like a pretty nice guy, and he posts a lot of pictures of his dog, whose name is Cal. And he started putting up pictures from this Witcher thing, but that's literally all I've seen of it, is what he's posted. And just his involvement was enough for me to be interested in it. Because it's on Netflix, we already have Netflix, so I was like, well, when it comes out, I'll watch it. I haven't looked at any of the previews or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the wig still looks a little questionable, but
But they always do. Like I don't think it looks any crazier than any TV wig we've seen.
Right. I mean, it's certainly not Inhumans Medusa bad. So,
but then what is really?
That's true.
Yeah, that's one I'll definitely check out as well, and something that, again, outside of my wheelhouse, 100%. But because of who's involved and because of the buzz around it, I'll check out.
Yeah, and I would say before we get to the big announcements, I think one of the biggest things that blew me away was that Picard trailer.
Oh man,
yeah, yes,
we watched. Mike, you were here when we watched Discovery, right?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Right. We watched the first half hour I guess it was the first hour of Discovery.
And I said, tapped out, I'm done.
Yeah, we wrote it off. Now, don't get me wrong. I would like to check out the rest because I've been kind of following along with recaps, and I'm interested to see how they execute some of these things. But for the most part, I had zero interest in ever signing up for CBS All Access. But this Picard trailer... Holy shit, you guys.
Yeah, they kept saying that, it was just Patrick Stewart. It was just the character of Picard. You weren't going to see anybody from Next Generation. They even there was some rumors that there was some sort of rights issues with getting certain characters.
Yes.
They couldn't do that or whatever. And it made no sense. Well, it turns out it was just all crap anyway because the trailer hits... Data's in the trailer. Some of the Nine's in the trailer.
Was it Data?
Well, a form of Data is in the trailer, right? So we don't know exactly
in the trailer.
Yeah, Brent Spiner, right? Some sort of Data Mark IV or something. I don't know what we're on now, but do we have more Datas or more Enterprises? I don't know. And then it was revealed. I think if not at the panel, it was revealed certainly after that both Riker and Troy are going to make appearances as well. I know that Jonathan Frakes is directing an episode. The Borg look like they fit heavily into this. The actor that played Hugh as the Borg is in the trailer as well.
Nasty looking too. Like, the shot of him on the table with all of his scars and everything from where his Borg implants have apparently been removed by, I guess, Romulans? Dude, it's crazy. You have Romulans pulling Borgs apart in some kind of Borg prison center. You got Picard wandering around western towns that have Deep Space Nines as weather vanes. It's like... It seems like a bunch of fan service, but it flowed in such a way that felt genuine, if that makes sense.
What's crazy too, it's got that, we're going to get the ragtag group that's going to go with him. So it's like they took, oh my God, I'm going to lose my
It's like if Picard was in Ice Pirates.
Not even Ice Pirates. Oh, Firefly, yeah. God, I can't look at the Firefly. Yeah, it's like they took Firefly and mashed it in with Next Generation.
Which is fine.
Yeah. No, I think it looks amazing. I may pay for a month of CBS access. I take that back. I won't pay for a month of CBS access. I'll get a free month trial and watch it all at once and then cancel it.
Well, they also, 7 of 9 was in it.
Who I'm a big fan of.
I think we all are.
Voyager was one of those shows, I was in college, so it was when I was going to school, it was just on in the background.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a time I got real into Voyager there for a little while.
Well, and if you look, a lot of the costume designs are pulled not from anything from the current movies, but a lot of Voyager stuff, a lot of Deep Space Nine influence. It looks like the progression of Starfleet uniforms from the old TV shows. As much as they were trying to sort of downplay how much influence Star Trek television might have had on this, it's very clearly a continuation of all of that, and I'm so excited because of it.
Yeah. It's a continuation of the Next Generation era.
Right.
Right.
Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, everything, this is the next thing.
Yeah. It might be missing the Enterprise, But that's the only thing.
And you know what? I'm okay with that because Star Trek isn't the Enterprise. It's Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need an Enterprise for it to be Star Trek. Yeah, so that was very exciting. I pushed play on the trailer, expecting just to be like, oh, cool, it's Patrick Stewart, and instead for 2 minutes was just blown away, not just by all the fan service, but by what looks like a very cool story and a lot of stuff that felt tonally like the Star Trek that I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really afraid it was going to be like a version of Logan in the Star Trek universe,
right.
with a Picard just kind of like on his last days on one last mission, that kind of thing. But it looks like it's a lot more than that. So I'm excited. I must admit, even though Discovery, kind of killed Star Trek for me for a little while, this one brought it back. It's not dead yet.
Yeah, there's still some life in this thing. All right, let's see here. Hang on, let me look at my notes real quick because I actually do have notes.
What about, while you're looking,
yeah,
what do y'all think about the Watchmen trailer?
I haven't watched it because I just don't care.
So I did. And then I watched that trailer, and I was like, well, all right, I kind of think I want to watch this. And then,
really?
I read what Damien Lindelof, said in the panel and to interviewers later. So, they kind of tried to say, oh, yeah, this is just going to be in the Watchmen world. It's not going to, really have a lot to do with the comic, just an extenuation, right? Yeah, no. Dr. Manhattan is in the trailer. He is a character on the show. Night Owl, the ship is there. And it looks like a good extension. Kind of what they explain those cops with the masks are and what they did. Now I'm kind of all right, I really want to watch this. And then they talked to Damien Lindelof about it, and the big quote they pulled off it was he said to the panel, "Fuck Alan Moore, I'm still doing whatever I want." And so that was the big headline. But then when he went and explained it, was basically I think Alan Moore is one of the greatest writers ever. I love the book. It's all canon. We're not changing anything. But I think Alan Moore, at the age when he was writing this, if someone had told him, you can't change Swamp Thing like that, or you can't change Superman like that, he would have told him to fuck off too. And I was like,
you can't change the Charleston characters like that.
Yeah. And I have absolutely been one of those people that thought before Watchmen was total bullshit. Some of the comics DC done is horrible, but I don't know. It looks good, and I like the story they're pushing. So
I saw that quote, and I did kind of like it. It made sense to me, and I can see. Look, I don't feel like Lindelof is trying to compare his talent to Alan Moore's in any way, but I do appreciate the idea of, look, you guys, this is my story that I want to do, my thing I want to tell, and you're not going to fucking tell me I can't do it. Just hang in there and check it. I like his attitude about it, even though it's almost kind of douchey. I like it because he's not wrong about saying that Alan Moore wanting to write Superman or Swamp Thing, if somebody had told him he couldn't do the things he wanted to do, would have said, fuck you.
Yep.
I'm excited by what I've seen, but the fact that Lindelof is behind it really makes me just so cautious because, he's 9 times out of 10, it's a dud for me. Even he gets me excited about stuff, but then ultimately it craps out.
It fizzles out, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, he's going to start a whole bunch of cool stuff in this, and then as it gets closer to the end or whatever, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah, and that may well happen. And look, I said I wasn't interested in this. That doesn't mean I won't watch it. Obviously, I'm going to watch at least the first episode. I mean, it's genre television, and it's on a channel that I already have. So, I mean, I'm not going to skip it, but I'm not invested in any way. But yeah, I mean, I'll be checking it out.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time. I think it's time to talk about, we'll go in order here, which means May 1st, 2020, even though we've known it's coming because it's actually been in production for several months now, Black Widow.
You know, they confirmed it's Taskmaster. The early pictures looked not like Taskmaster, but they've kind of released some more stuff.
Well, we know how they do, though. Like, like nobody, if you go back and look at pictures of Brie Larson, you know, in Captain Marvel, and they digitally enhance everything. They, you know, they add to the costumes, the uniforms, whatever.
Yeah. And, you know, it looks like we're getting Red Room stuff and all sorts of good stuff. So I think it's going to be good. I mean, obviously most of the Marvel movies are good, so.
They've rescued David Harbour from the Hellboy ghetto.
Yeah, and he's playing, what's his name?
Red Guardian, right?
Red Guardian, yeah.
Which is like a Soviet version of Captain America. I think that's going to be brilliant. I'm really excited for that.
My only issue, though, is that Taskmaster is too much villain for a solo movie.
I think so. And, I mean, you know, the picture they've shown, he's got the shield and stuff.
Which is weird.
Yeah, so did he, I mean, maybe he watched Captain America on TV and learned the moves that way. You know, I don't know how they'll adapt Taskmaster. If he's going to have his actual power or if it's just going to be a guy that studies really close.
But at this point, I think Marvel has earned my trust.
Oh, absolutely.
Where whatever they do, like the Baron Zemo that they gave us is not the Baron Zemo I necessarily wanted, but it's one of the best villains in the MCU.
Well, but so that leads into the next one, right?
Right, which I'm thrilled about. Go ahead.
So Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be the next thing that comes out. You know, there was questions if the Falcon was going to be Captain America in that show, and he is going to be at some point.
He said, Anthony Mackie said he's been fitted for the suit.
Yeah, and then Zemo, he's going to be Baron Zemo. Like, he's going to wear the mask.
Have you seen the picture? I wasn't able to look at it because I was at work.
Yeah, it looks great. It's straight up the comic purple sock on his head.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is great. I mean, you know, now he's pissed off. I mean, yeah, his family died, but now he couldn't kill himself. You know, it's revenge time.
He's got to get revenge. Wait. Well, see, wouldn't he want revenge on Black Panther for stopping him from killing himself, though?
Well, you know, I think he's that's a little out of his weight class, so he's going to go fight. He's going to warm up with B-Team Captain America and Sad Bucky.
Yeah, good call.
So it keeps my hope alive. We're going to get Thunderbolts at one point.
I think it'll happen. I think it has to happen. You know, obviously it'll have to be a little further down the line. But, I mean, Thunderbolts is just too big and well-known a name for them to avoid completely. And I wonder, though, if the fact that DC is making such a big thing out of Suicide Squad, given that it's sort of a similar conceit, that maybe Marvel isn't that interested in it now. And also, I think Thunderbolts would work better as one of these, which let's talk a little bit about these Disney Plus shows. First of all, what do you guys think of Disney Plus overall? I mean, for me, it's an automatic subscription. Just considering the amount of Disney content they're going to, like, past Disney content they're going to have. Because, look, I signed up for Boomerang, and it's one of the best streaming services we have. So Disney doing something equivalent to Boomerang would be enough for me, let alone having all of this original content that they're going to have. How do you guys feel about Disney Plus overall right now?
I mean, I would have paid the money just for The Mandalorian. But, I mean, the fact it's going to have everything on it, and it's like $7 a month, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I think everybody's going to get it. Yeah. They're putting a lot of money into these shows. I I can't wait to get it. And just having the Disney movies, and I mean, I think the service sounds like it's going to be amazing. I mean, I hate that it's another fractured streaming service I have to buy and keep up with, but I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, the idea of access to the Disney Vault anytime you want it is reason enough for me to get it, right? Even if there was nothing new.
Being able to watch the computer wore tennis shoes anytime I want is
absolutely
priceless.
Yeah, bed knobs and broomsticks. I want to dial that up whenever I want.
Right. Well, and that's what's kind of so retroactively clever is that so much of Disney's content over the past 5-6 decades, they've been so smart about keeping things in the vault.
Oh yeah.
That there's a lot of stuff that you can't just get anytime you want, even in the current digital media age.
Well, it does remain to be seen how much access we're going to get, and whether or not they're going to rotate things. I mean, are you going to be able to pull up Song of the South whenever you want? Probably not.
You're not going to be able to pull up Song of the South at all.
But I'm saying, if Disney is listening, man up and put Black Hole on there. Because I remember how bad that movie was, and I want to see if it matches.
Dude, Black Hole, I think it absolutely will in there because they're working on a remake.
Oh, are they? I didn't even know that.
Dude, somebody, I can't remember who it is right now, somebody showed new Black Hole toys at Comic-Con.
Wow. I didn't know they were that.
And it's like a high-profile company. Shit, I wish I could remember who it was. It's I didn't even put it in my write-up.
Wait, these are new toys based on the old, on the old movie?
Oh, based on the old movie.
Gotcha.
But yeah, there is a Black Hole remake.
I can't believe I just called it an old movie. Oh man,
it might have been Diamond Select. I think it was Diamond Select.
I got the figures when they came out originally, and those were lame figures. The only thing that was cool was the Maximilian figure. That was pretty awesome. I still have that on my desk. Actually.
And it was Maximilian, and who was the evil robot?
The shiny black one, right?
Yeah, those were the two that they showed.
Gotcha.
I'm looking it up right now. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a must-have service already. But then they throw out, and granted, again, we were aware of all these shows, but I don't think they had been officially announced till now. Falcon and Winter Soldier, fall of 2020, and then WandaVision, spring of 2021. All we know is that Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, are in it.
It's not the only thing we know.
Well, what else do we know, and what do we expect?
I believe we know that at least part of it takes place in the 50s. And we also know that it will introduce the adult version of Monica Rambeau.
Yes, That's right.
Which seems to be at cross purposes there. So, and I think they also said that they'll lead into the next Doctor Strange movie.
They have, and they had some image. They're going to retool her, essentially.
Really?
Yeah, and so they talked a lot about, like, her powers and how, I guess they said how she's going to grow into them. And that, so when you see her in Age of Ultron, she's just got them, so that's why she's just kind of throwing the energy around and not really having them.
The poorly defined energy balls.
Yeah, and so they're going to move her more towards, like, chaos magic and all that.
Well, she's also supposed to be in Doctor Strange 2, right?
Right.
Yes.
Which has the greatest title of any Marvel movie ever, In the Multiverse of Madness. Holy shit, you guys. I'm so excited for that movie. And look, I like the first Doctor Strange, but I didn't love it. I like Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, but I don't love him. But that title has me more excited for that movie than anything else Marvel announced.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping that the title kind of leads to they're going to have Scarlet Witch go batshit crazy like she does in the comics. And
Well,
almost do like a House of M style kind of,
Well, here's
where
the
she
thing.
just loses it and remakes reality.
But what if they do a reversal? What if WandaVision is all about her and Vision, leads up to whatever she does in Doctor Strange 2, but instead of no more mutants, she brings the mutants into existence somehow?
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah, that's the big mystery I was trying to solve. How are the mutants going to come into play?
Right.
And that's just one among a billion theories that I've heard. So they still played that very close to the chest. I mean, he did say during the panel that, and of course, Fantastic Four and mutants, ... And that was it. Like, that's it. So that's all we've got. And who knows? I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. As you said earlier, Dave, I trust them.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's the thing is, like, it's all of this is very exciting, but it's a different kind of excitement than other announcements give you, because we now have 11 years of the worst MCU thing that's happened, like, in the past 11 years is pretty darn good. Like, that's, to me, in my opinion, the low bar of MCU is pretty darn good. So, I mean, and they just keep getting, like, and I think they're aware of the stuff that only hits the pretty darn good mark. You know what I mean? I'm just, everything is so exciting that they threw out there. So we've got WandaVision, spring of 2021. It's interesting to me, though, that Loki, starring Tom Hiddleston, as apparently the Loki that we saw escape in Endgame,
yep,
is debuting at the same time. I'm surprised that they would launch two of these shows at the same time. What do we know about this Loki show?
I think you just said that's all we
That's about it.
We covered it.
Yep.
So
we saw the logos of all these things too, by the way.
yes, very exciting logos. Delightful logos. All right, so the next...
I think the only thing they showed footage of was some footage of Black Widow.
Yeah, a little bit, which I have not seen yet. And quite frankly, I don't need to see anything for any of these at this point.
Right.
Just give me a release date. I'll be there in the theater, and I will watch it. Even the Eternals, which I don't give a shit about the Eternals, but I love the MCU. So, November 5th, 2020, this is going to come along after Falcon and Winter Soldier, but prior to WandaVision and Loki. What do we... I don't know anything about the Eternals at all. I'm not going to pretend that I do. I know they've cast Angelina Jolie and some other actors.
They've got a hell of a cast.
Okay,
it is amazing.
Let's talk about it.
Salma Hayek is in it. Richard Madden.
Richard Madden, Stark, the really disloyal Stark that got everybody killed. Red Wedding Stark.
Yes. And other guys that I know, like if I saw when I see their names, I'm like, I don't know them. And then I look at them, I'm like, I know exactly who all these people are.
Okay.
I think it's really interesting, and I don't know what the release schedule is like, but the fact that we're getting probably within months of each other, we're getting Eternals, and then we're also getting New Gods from DC. I'm thinking this is like we're going to see more Kirby Crackle on the big screen than ever. And look, I mean, I'm familiar with both of those, and to an extent. But man, I mean, this is when Kirby was just going on his own and doing his own thing. It's crazy stuff. So how they're going to make this accessible to people is going to be really interesting. And this is another one that I've heard could be a key to how the mutants come into the MCU.
Well,
right, which would make sense how they got their powers and all that stuff. I mean, they could essentially make the Eternals mutants if they wanted to, because
Sure,
they get their powers
sure.
from Celestials and all that mess.
Yeah, because I think they've decided that Inhumans is not a thing anymore in the MCU. That did not go well. I think they're just going to write that off.
Yeah.
It upsets me a little bit because I would, if I had my choice, I would want an awesome New Gods movie because I am much more familiar with the New Gods than I am with the Eternals. I would love to have a badass New Gods movie, but it's being done by Warner Brothers, who do not have the best track record.
It's being written by Tom King.
It's being written by Tom King, who I have of late become greatly dissatisfied with.
Well, but if you read his Mr. Miracle...
right, his Mr. Miracle is fantastic.
Then that's all we need to concentrate on here.
But it would be fairly impenetrable as a film, and it's being directed by Ava DuVernay, who, if you saw A Wrinkle in Time, is maybe not awesome.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm
Well,
in a
obviously, yes,
weird position where I'm much more excited about the thing that I know way less about.
Right. Well, I mean, look. I mean, it's the way things are now, right? With Marvel, we trust. In DC, not so much. Warner Brothers, not so much.
Yeah, it's true. Well, and that's the thing. It's not even so much DC as it is Warner Brothers. Because, I mean, look, I enjoyed the hell out of Aquaman, but it's not as good as any Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I enjoy it. It's fun. I've watched it a few times. But shit, it's not as good as Thor. It just isn't.
It might be better than The Dark World.
See, I like The Dark World.
I do
feel
too.
like that movie's underrated, man. It gave us some cool stuff. But all right, so moving on. The Eternals, we know a little bit, but not a lot. Next up, this one really got me going because one of the things that I have been thirsty for is more about the whole 10 Rings deal that was set up in the Iron Man movies. I liked what they did in Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin. I liked the misdirect. But I want a legit Mandarin. And holy shit, at Comic-Con, Marvel said, guess what? We're giving you a legit Mandarin. Like, I don't even care about Shang-Chi. I'm stoked that we're getting a Mandarin.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is we've known the real Mandarin is out there because he's on the.
Right.
I can't even remember what Blu-ray that was on. Like the DVD extra.
On, I think
the Iron Man one, right?
I don't think it was on the Iron Man 3 one. I think it was on a later one because that's how they did those one shots. Is the
Let's see.
It would be. Well, that might have been Iron Man 3 though. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because the
it's the All Hail the King one. Let's
right.
see.
The one with Coulson and the guy that ended up being a turncoat when Coulson's on his way to deal with Thor was on Iron Man 2 maybe? I can't remember the order. But anyway, yeah, they had the short.
Oh, it was on Thor the Dark World.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's they
reason enough to like Thor the Dark World.
There
right.
you go.
But yeah, those one shots they weren't included on the movie that they were related to. It was always like the next movie. And that one, they make it clear there is an actual Mandarin. There's an actual. Well, we already know from the very first Iron Man movie that the 10 Rings are a terrorist organization. Like they're very real.
Mm-hmm.
So I am stoked about this, and now we're at a point. The first time the 10 Rings are mentioned, it's when the MCU was a little more grounded, and they had to sort of work Marvel concepts into a different type of world. But now we have magic, we have Infinity Stones, we have crazy monsters in outer space, we have all this wild shit, we have Doctor Strange. So I can imagine literally Mandarin with 10 rings in this movie. Like, and I'm glad now that it's taken this long, you know what I mean? So we can get the real deal.
Yeah, I definitely see that Shang-Chi is sort of Marvel's way of saying, all right, we're going to get Iron Fist like right this time. And for everything that you thought Iron Fist was going to be, that's what Shang-Chi is going to be.
Yes, I think you're right.
And the fact that the comics, with the origin, he's the son of Fu Manchu, well, I think the replacing Fu Manchu with the Mandarin is just perfect. I mean, it just fits like a glove, and I'm excited for this as well.
And you mentioned Iron Fist. I accepted that series a little more than most people did. I recognize its flaws. I don't understand how you make a television show about a kung fu master and have like the worst fights of all of the Netflix shows. But I liked how they handled Danny Rand. I dug it. And that second season I thought was very good, and the ending was phenomenal.
Yeah, the ending was like, you're going to cancel it just as it's getting interesting.
Yeah.
However, it does seem, with a bit of very significant casting, it does seem like the MCU is leaving the Netflix Marvel shows behind entirely. With the announcement that Marshala Ali is going to be Blade.
Well, that could be. I still don't take it that way. I mean, there are other actors who have played two roles in the MCU, so that's not a given. But
he had such a significant role in Luke Cage. It's not like he was waiter number 2.
Yeah.
True. But I think they're just banking on the fact that nobody really saw it.
And I look, I hope you're right, because I would love to see Jessica and Luke and Danny and
Matt.
and Matt.
Yeah.
I would love to see them in the future. I as many issues as I might have with their Netflix shows, I feel like Mike Coulter and Kristen Ritter and the other two whose names aren't leaping, Finn Balor, Finn Jones,
Finn Balor.
Finn Jones, and the guy that played Daredevil. I thought they were all great, and of course Foggy was awesome. Like, I love the actors; they did a great job. It's just that the shows got really saggy in the middle. I don't want to abandon these versions of these heroes. I would love to see them carried forward.
Not to mention, I think between the Purple Man and Kingpin, you've got two of the best villains that the MCU has ever seen.
Well, I think Kingpin would be the one that would be the easiest to move into the movies if they wanted to do that, or just to continue on Disney Plus shows. I mean, honestly, you could do a Kingpin show if you wanted to.
I'd watch that.
But yeah, I there's plenty of material there, or plenty of worth there to bring those actors forward for more, and 3 years is not as long as people think it is.
No. I mean, think about it. Think of a lot of the movies that we were expecting to be announced in Phase 4 are not in Phase 4.
Right.
So we're going to have to wait at least 2, maybe to 3 years to see Black Panther 2, to see Captain Marvel 2, to see Guardians 3. Like, these are not coming very soon to a theater near you.
Right. Guardians 3 is at least 3 years away, because Suicide Squad is 2021.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. By the time those movies come out, Disney has free reign over all those other characters. So who knows? And
they will have firmly established whatever they have done with this initial wave of Disney Plus shows will have been established and done by then. And I feel like chances are these are going to be sort of miniseries things. I don't expect WandaVision to last. I expect it to be a season. I don't think any of these, and this is just my personal insight. I have no information, but it would not surprise me if these were all like treated like miniseries shows and not like multiple season shows.
Yeah, I get the feeling they're designed to set up movies.
Right.
So they let you turn the Falcon into Captain America instead of wasting half a movie with that. You can just show up and you can have ex Captain America with him, or whichever else. WandaVision will set her up right into Doctor Strange. It'll set up Hawkeye into what will be a Hawkeye trilogy of awesomeness in movies.
Well, here's the interesting thing, though. Okay, so this brings us to our next topic, which is Hawkeye, fall of 2021. But from what I understand, what they showed was animation at the panel. Is Hawkeye an animated show?
What If is an animated show.
Well, I know What If is animated, but what I read online is that the Hawkeye panel showed animation.
Huh.
I don't know.
And I know Jeremy Renner is involved, but the original, all of the cast members are involved in What If as well, but that's voiceover work. And I could actually see Hawkeye. I mean, if you want to basically adapt Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, animation would not be a bad way to go.
I don't know. I hadn't heard that, but my understanding of Hawkeye is, it's going to center a lot around Kate Bishop.
Right.
And I kind of, there's been rumors forever that they really want to do Young Avengers. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the jump off for that. So they'll start that and then have Kate Bishop be ready to found Young Avengers in maybe Phase 5 or Phase 6. I'm really happy they're using the faction kind of style for the Hawkeye logo. If I don't get Pizza Dog in that show, I'd be super pissed.
And it was exactly the logo from the Fraction comic.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I think it's probably going to be one of the best shows ever made.
Yeah, well, it's Hawkeye. Of course it is.
Once again, Beth will have to choke on her words about how awesome Hawkeye is.
She's going to be eating crow.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So I think, I mean, that pretty much covers. It's funny because...
Oh, we got one more.
Oh, what have we got? What have we got?
You've forgotten about Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes,
which,
I certainly have.
This, for my money, is one of the best titles that Marvel has come up with ever. I'm surprised by how excited I am by this. This is actually the one that I'm excited for the most out of all the things they announced.
I'm conflicted.
I understand your conflict. I know that's coming from.
I love the fact, because I've been calling for it for a long time now, to just go ahead and pull the trigger and make Natalie Portman Thor.
Right.
I'm a big fan of her work. I think she's fantastic, and the idea of her as Thor is just awesome. I am not, however, a fan of Taika Waititi, or however you say his name. I don't like Thor Ragnarok, and this is after multiple viewings because I want to like Thor Ragnarok. I love the visuals. I love the aesthetic. I love the style. I hate the humor. And my wish for this movie is that they keep all of the cool stuff about that guy, but they rein in his fart jokes and his stepping on dramatic moments and his undermining of story.
Well, what would be funny is if they follow the comic and, kind of do the Jane has cancer thing, and when she turns into Thor, it kills her chemo and all that. Not a whole lot of laughs going on there.
Well, then again, Thor lost his people, and that should not have been funny either. So I understand Dave's concern a lot because, the tone that Ragnarok should have had The parts where they were on Hulk, I thought were fantastic. But it was when they went back to Asgard and things were on the line that I thought that his director style and the way that it was written just made it seem so trivial that Thor was that Asgard was going away. Like all the characters that died, like they didn't seem to have any significance whatsoever. So I understand that concern. I don't think the stakes are going to be as high in this one because Asgard has already been destroyed. So I'm kind of thinking that it could be better. And the other thing I like about this too is that this hopefully will imply that Thor is not going to be in Guardians 3, which I was kind of worried about.
I agree. I had enough of the Thor Star-Lord feud about 3 minutes into the Thor Star-Lord feud.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Asgardians of the future, or the Asgardians of the galaxy, let's say. So, but like you, I'm a huge fan of Natalie Portman. I'm glad to see that she's back, and she's back in a big way. And that alone has got me really excited for this.
Well, here's the scene that I'm envisioning in Taika Waititi's Thor: Love and Thunder. Natalie Portman is on her deathbed. Cancer has advanced, and Thor has come to visit her. His lost love that we haven't really seen in a couple of movies now. And she says, "Thor, I just want you to know how important you are to me, how much you mean to me, how much you changed my life. But now it's at an end. Things are growing dark." And then we hear... and the camera moves over to the corner, and Korg or whatever his name is over there and says, "Oh, excuse me." And that's our big, touching Cancer revelation.
I'm not saying that you're wrong to worry about that.
Look, I have faith in Marvel. I hope that they recognize and look, I'm not unrealistic. I understand everybody loves Thor Ragnarok. Well, not everybody. Most people love Thor Ragnarok. Most people do not look at it the same way that I look at it. But I also feel like Marvel, looking at Endgame, looking at Infinity War, it hasn't all turned into a farce. So it's not like they embraced that comedic style. So my hope is that going forward, we get more of a sort of middle ground of his humor and the MCU's sensibility. Like I'm not totally shitting on this movie. I'm going to be there opening day. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. But I am hoping that we get it, either reined in a little bit or in an overall plot where it's more appropriate.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, and I think that's fair. To be honest, if they had just announced that Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson were coming back, and with Waititi, I would have been like, okay. But just the fact that Natalie Portman's in it and they're going to do the Jane Foster story in some way, like I said, that is enough to get me really excited. Right. Which is weird because I didn't even read much of that in the comics.
No, I didn't either. I just liked the idea of it.
So, but I sort of loved the idea of, I kind of missed her presence in Ragnarok. Another issue that I had with Ragnarok because I enjoyed her in the first two Thor movies so much that I
and Kat Dennings.
Yes.
I would love to see her back.
I hope Kat's
as well.
back too. Yes. So I'm excited for, albeit, yes, I'm a little hesitant, but yes, I'm excited.
Cautiously optimistic.
There you go.
Now, Ryan, I don't know if you've really gotten to say your piece about Ragnarok on the show before.
Which part?
Just overall, just how you feel.
There's parts of Ragnarok I absolutely love. But like you said, there's just parts of it that the humor is way off. I really like Hela. I would like her to come back. But, like you said, the humor is just a little much. It reminds me a lot of what they ended up doing with Drax Volume 2. Sometimes it's just too much.
That didn't bother me as much, but I totally understand people that thought it was too much. I get it, but that didn't bother me.
No.
We can find our middle ground. So
I think one thing we didn't say about Doctor Strange, too, outside of how amazing the title is they also announced that it is the first horror movie.
Yes. How interesting is that?
Yeah, supposedly it's straight up a horror movie. So I'm real interested to see how Marvel does that.
Now, and it's going to be the same director that did the first Doctor Strange. Is that correct?
I believe so.
I think that's correct. I can't remember his name right now, and I feel like a bad host. But, there's a lot of information here, people, and we just can't keep track of everything. Especially
considering that none of us were actually...
Right. What I can tell you, though, is that Joe Schaefer, one of the writers of Black Widow, also wrote Olaf's Frozen Adventure.
Oh.
So we have that to look. That's for some reason that's one of the notes I made. So we've covered quite a few different things. I think we have to talk about the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, DC did not make much waves movie-wise. I think a lot of people were surprised. They thought they were going to
anything.
No, and I think a lot of people thought that they were going to do something regarding Suicide Squad.
You know what?
Or Wonder Woman.
I think they were smart not to, because there was no way anybody was going to compete with Marvel making all of the... Like I said, we knew all this stuff was coming, but these were the official announcements.
Right.
And nobody was going to compete with this.
However, through the CW shows and their Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover that's coming up, they managed to steal a lot of headlines.
For sure. I mean, one of them that, it's a great headline in and of itself, but also the world of possibilities that it opens up is fascinating. And that's the fact that Burt Ward is going to be part of the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. They have not said how or what part he's playing, but
he's strapping on the booties.
Well, look, imagine this. Imagine he's playing the Dick Grayson from Batman 66, only he's in more of a Bruce Wayne Batman Beyond role.
That is what I'm guessing is going to happen.
That was my first thought as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'll be able to directly say it, but just kind of hint at, yep, he was Robin, and this is who he is now. And then Brandon Routh is going to suit up as Superman again.
Right, Brandon
and
Routh.
Not just the Man of Steel that he was in Superman Returns, but the T-shirt that he was wearing on the panel revealed that it was the Kingdom Come version of Superman.
And look, people are trying to downplay that, but if you think that's not significant, then you don't understand how corporate synergy works and how closely all of these producers and production companies and whoever else plan these Comic-Con events and panels. If you think his manager or whatever didn't hand him that shirt that was sent to them from the DC home office, then you don't get how these things work.
Yeah.
He was
I doubt he said oh, I'm going to go into my closet and pick a Superman shirt.
Right. That was that shirt.
Was that a different logo? I didn't even notice.
Right. That shirt was fresh from Warner Brothers store or whatever.
It was after he revealed the shirt. He should have just said, "And it's available down on the floor."
Right. Exactly. You can go to superherostuff.com and buy this right now. And if you use code ROUTH, you can get 15% off and free shipping.
I think that, with the Brandon Ralph reveal, as well as later on the Burt Ward reveal, there's been a lot of other speculation as to other things, other casting that hasn't been made official. But just those two alone opens the door for Crisis on Infinite Earths to be as amazing as we think it should be.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Well, and let's talk about one of those rumors because it's very close and personal to my heart. Tom Welling may be in it.
Look, right. This is. I try not to be too mean on this show. I try not to be too rude on this show. And I love Tom Welling as much as anybody who endured all the seasons of Smallville because Ryan was watching it at the time. But Tom Welling is too fat to be Superman right now. He is fatter than I am, and I'm not at my top weight, but I'm pretty chubby right now. I just don't see it.
Oh, it makes it even better for me. I want to see
fat Superman.
I haven't in a while. I don't watch Lucifer, so I don't know. But I mean, he didn't like Val Kilmer out, did he?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to see fat Tom Welling in that red leather jacket, and he can't zip it now. Somebody save me! He's playing in the background.
But it wouldn't be leather jacket because at the end of Smallville, it wasn't him, but his character was in the Superman costume.
He can't fit in that anymore.
Well, they'd have to restitch it.
So he's got to go back to his jacket.
No, I want fat Tom Welling in a full-on Superman costume. I want that to happen.
Bring Glover back, damn it.
Look, if you can have Burt Ward in this, then he's off the table. That's what I'm saying. There could be a whole, one of the worlds could be like a fat world.
I want Julian Glover in it, not only as Lionel Luthor, but also as Jason Woodrue. I want him as both.
Well, I like I said. I mean, I think that there's been speculation, of course, that Linda Carter is going to make an appearance.
Yeah.
There's been all sorts of everything is on the table here, which is amazing and that's what I want. That's what I want out of this crossover. And I understand that CW doesn't have an infinite budget, but it's 5 parts, and it promises to change the CW in a way that I think if we all know our Crisis the way we do, could streamline all of the CW superhero shows into one Earth, which would be really interesting.
I'm not as invested in the CW shows as I once was. We stopped watching Arrow. We stopped watching Supergirl. We kept up with Flash only because it's my son's favorite show. But the crossovers have been excellent every year. So even though Supergirl's new costume and haircut look absolutely horrible, I still will watch this for sure, 100%. I hope Matt Ryan as Constantine is great. Legends of Tomorrow. We still watch Legends of Tomorrow because it's one of the best shows on television.
I did like one of the announcements for the CW too. Was like, yep, and we're bringing Wally West back this year.
Yeah,
right after they announced Crisis, and I was like, "Oh, you better be careful, buddy." They'll have to kill a Flash, and something tells me they're not knocking off Barry.
Well, that's what's funny is we had basically confirmation that Cisco Ramon, the actor that plays Cisco, was leaving the show. But now at Comic-Con, he said, that's ridiculousness. I was never leaving the show, you silly people. We have Wally coming back, who had left the show for other things. They seem to have gotten their hooks into these people again.
Yeah. And I'm hoping it's just all caused by Bebo.
I mean, Bebo absolutely has to show up in some capacity, no doubt. Let's see. There were a couple other things. We saw a trailer for the Harley Quinn animated show, which I love. I think it looks great. I definitely see Connor and Palmiotti's humor there. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what the future of the DC Universe app is.
Well, so they had announcements about it because they announced
HBO
a lot of
Max.
that HBO Max Warner Brothers thing, but now the shows are going to premiere simultaneously. So Doom Patrol Season 2 will be on both.
Well, that was my suspicion, is that at some point DC Universe is just going to get folded into HBO Max, probably shortly after the initial. Did you sign up last year after Comic-Con?
I did.
For the 16-month thing?
Yeah, I did.
See, that's what I did, and I strongly suspect shortly after that 16-month thing is done that they're just going to move everything over to HBO Max.
I don't know, because they've really stepped up the comic game on that thing lately. Like, they're putting in more and more and more. And so maybe they'll split them out, and so the DC Universe will basically become like Marvel Unlimited, and they'll just move all the shows and everything over.
Or they'll share them. I guess if they share them, I don't know that I'll keep the DC Universe app if all of the show, because I'm mostly there for the shows. And I got to say, just real quick, it's heartbreaking about Swamp Thing, because that show is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. They've never really said.
It's never been totally clear. The show has claimed that North Carolina did not come through with the financing that they thought they were going to come through with. North Carolina has said, no, we never said they were going to get that much money. There's the possibility that Warner Brothers wanted one thing and the DC production office wanted another thing, that even with North Carolina's budgetary considerations, the show ended up costing more than they wanted to spend. Like, there's so many different stories related to it. And matter of fact, it was filmed in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is, my family lives there, and I was up there a few weeks ago, and there's a store called Whatever Wilmington, and they're a pop culture store, and they provided a lot of the props in Blue Devil's store that you see on the show. And matter of fact, pretty much everything you see in Ian Ziering's store, in Blue Devil's store, is from a store called Whatever Wilmington. And I was talking to the guy that owns the store, and they got to raid the set while they were tearing it down. The set is no more. They built that whole swamp is on a soundstage. It's on the De Laurentiis soundstage there in Wilmington. They filmed some stuff out in I can't remember the name of the lake right now. Like, some stuff was actually on location in a real lake. Like, they blew up the boat there. But then all the stuff where you see characters talking in the swamp is a soundstage. But anyway, this guy said that the people that were making the show wanted to do a love story, basically like the Eddie Arcane, Alec Holland, like the Alan Moore comics, but that Warner Brothers wanted more of an action horror thing, and that was where there was some butting of heads going on. So, who knows, man? But the show is fantastic, and it just sucks that it's only getting 10 episodes, and it is very unlikely we'll ever see more, because it's the best Swamp Thing we've ever seen on screen.
Did you see the images from Titan Season 2?
No, I haven't looked at any of it yet.
Ooh, it looks good. Fully costumed Titans team, Superboy, Crypto, and Deathstroke.
I loved the first season of that show. Mike, have you seen any of it?
I have not. I still do not have the DC Universe yet. So
it's understandable. I mean, it's a whole extra thing, I get it.
It is. And I love DC, so it kills me. But I really want to participate in that. And at some point I will, but just, not in the near future.
Well, once it's HBO Max, you'll have a lot more Warner Brothers stuff incorporated, and you can just sign up for that, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to pay for HBO twice.
Well, no, you'll only pay for it once. Dude, I am serious, very, very close to just dropping cable. The only thing that I watch on live TV is wrestling now. Anybody in the family, because I asked the family about it. I said, do we even need cable? And everything they watch is Netflix or Hulu or something else like that. Like, we watch very little live TV, and Raw and SmackDown are both available on Hulu the next day. And I often, because of my job, I can't watch them live anyway. So I am seriously considering cutting that cord soon. All right. Have we covered all of the highlights? Is there anything else that you guys have notes on or thought out? What do you got?
Edward Furlong is back.
No, that's not a positive note.
What? Come on.
I was actually pretty interested.
Wait a minute. Wait, he is big as Burt Ward and Charles Willie now?
Look.
What does he look like now?
I was pretty interested in Terminator Fart Take.
Oh, no.
And
wait, let's just take a minute. Let's pause. I would like everyone to Google Edward Furlong so you can see what he looks like today.
Well, I don't even care what he looks like. He's just been a terrible actor since day one.
I'm just saying, looking at this picture, I do not see Savior of the Human Race.
Everybody go watch.
See? Yeah.
Go watch Edward Furlong's The Crow movie and get back to me. No, he's been terrible. He was terrible in Terminator 2. Like,
what?
He was, dude. That movie, look, I'm sorry. That movie's way overrated. Way overrated. That franchise peaked. Well, the first Terminator was great. And Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles was great. Everything else involved with Terminators, not that great. That's my take. That's my personal opinion. And I was actually pretty interested in this new movie. Everything I saw, I'm not going to say I was like excited, but it seemed compelling. And then their big announcement, what? Eddie Furlong's back. And I was like, never mind.
But how awesome would it be if they like show busted up old Edward Furlong and basically Sarah Connor's like, yep, nope. The timeline moved on. We're protecting somebody else now.
We're putting you in a home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That lessened my interest in the movie.
Yeah, the only thing this Edward Furlong is saving is room for dessert.
Oh my goodness. Him and Tom Welling should. Yeah.
Wow.
That was your big tidbit, huh?
I'm telling you, I think it's great.
Mike, I hope you had something better than that.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't know. It might be a specialized thing, but for me, the highlight also was the new trailer for Westworld, the third season of Westworld.
Oh, yeah.
I love that show. The second season got some heat, but I still love that show. It's one of its, and what they're doing for series 3 looks incredible. It's got like one of my favorite movies, a Blade Runner feel to it, and I think it's going to be it's just going to be mind blowing.
Anybody who took issue with the second season of Westworld, I think the only thing that the second season had going against it was that it didn't have the freshness of the first season, and that we had to wait a week between episodes. Anybody who had an issue with the second season, binge it. Go back, watch it again, and watch like 3 episodes at a time over the course of a week, and I can guarantee all of your problems will go away.
That's good to know. I make it past episode 3.
There are, I know that, like, I'm not saying that the second season is perfect, but I will say there's at least 2 episodes and maybe even a third that I think are the best single episodes of TV I've ever seen.
The one with the scenes in feudal Japan. That episode is absolutely fantastic in every way.
The Native American one.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Where we get the backstory.
Yes. So great. And, I just, like, and so yeah, I mean, this looks like they're rewriting things a lot differently, but I mean, obviously, they're still gonna surprise us. So and it's harder to do now because, like you said, we're expecting it, right?
Right.
So,
right.
But I think Nolan said that season 3 is going to be less. He said, "quote It's going to be less of a guessing game and more of an experience." So I'm ready.
And we only have to wait a year. 2020, everybody.
Yeah, I know. Is it April 2020 though?
I think it is April, so it's not quite a year.
Yeah.
But it's next year. All right, so if Ryan Schweck, head of research, if you had to pick one thing from this San Diego Comic-Con, be it toy, movie, TV show, whatever, that you were most excited about or that seemed the most compelling to you, what would it be?
Ooh, that's hard. I mean, I think just personally, the most, just them Scarlet Witch and kind of her show moving into Doctor Strange and what Doctor Strange is going to be got me the most excited. Because she's definitely, I mean, she, as far as comic book characters go, like, for me, it pretty much goes Cyclops, which I know everybody makes fun of, and then Scarlet Witch. So I'm really excited they're kind of going to do a do-over and maybe get her right.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily that they've gotten her wrong. They just haven't done her justice yet.
Right. And, like, I really love what they, like, her in the beginning of Age of Ultron, where she's, like, real creepy, and they did the effects, like, I loved that.
Yes.
And so I kind of hope they kind of go back to that and update her powers a little bit.
Mike Gordon, what about you? Do you have one specific thing that you can kind of pick out as, like, this was the shining moment of Comic-Con 2019?
Well, I do, and it's going to be something that I haven't, and it's not even a movie or toy or anything related, but this was the first time that San Diego hosted a Tiki Pop art panel.
Oh.
And they had about 6, 7 Tiki art, some of which I'm familiar with, so a couple I'm not, that talked all about influences and the Tiki scene as it is today, and I really wish I could have been there for it. I got so many people that were like, dude, they stole your idea.
And they totally did.
There was even one guy that was on my Tiki art panel at DragonCon last year. 2 years ago. And but the fact that they did that in San Diego and on the on the grandest stage, so to speak, I'm just really excited that happened, and I can't wait. I know somebody recorded it for a podcast. I'm just waiting for it to come out. So,
I've got to say that as exciting as all the Marvel stuff was, they didn't really show us anything. It's nice to know what's happening. I'm very excited about the announcement of Mahershala Ali as Blade. That's very cool. Natalie Portman as Thor. Very cool. Something I've wanted that I did not see coming. But I think the thing that I popped the biggest for, aside from the Major Wrestling Figure podcast coverage from Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, was probably that Picard trailer. Like you said, Mike, it seemed like Star Trek was kind of lost to us. And watching that trailer was very much sort of a renewal of faith. It could still turn out to not be what I want, but everything about that Picard, I've watched that 10 times probably at this point. I've read breakdowns. I have looked into this trailer in a way that I have not looked into things in a long time, because I want good Star Trek. And the first time I saw this trailer, I thought, oh, shit, good Star Trek could still happen. And the fact that Patrick Stewart has input into, like, he's basically writing this Picard. And that gives me a lot of hope. And everything that I saw in that trailer just looks cool and awesome and compelling. And it just blew me away. And I'll be honest, out of the last several San Diego Comic-Cons, this might be the thing that really, I won't say I teared up, but I felt emotions watching this trailer. And it made me realize how much I love Star Trek and how much I love Jean-Luc Picard and how much I want good Star Trek in my life. So that was my big one. That Picard trailer was just fantastic for me. I loved it.
I also think, too, that, it'd be interesting to see. Marvel made a big splash, but next month in August, they've got D23 Expo happening, which is a huge press event for them.
Yeah, Ryan mentioned that in our toy episode in speculation that they may have been holding things back for that.
Well, and even though Disney had a lot of Marvel news, they didn't really make a lot of Star Wars news. So I think Disney will do some more Marvel announcements at that time too. But then you'll see, like they'll be Star Wars crazy as well. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at D23 to get some sort of Black Widow teaser trailer. But I think you're right. I think it's mostly going to be Star Wars news this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see a Star Wars trailer until another one until then.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, I think Star Wars and DC movies were the things that were missing at San Diego this year.
Yes. And while we will certainly be covering D23 in the Needless Things Podcast Facebook group, which if you're not a part of that, you should join. The Needless Things Podcast and needlessthingspodcast.com is going to be very, very focused on Dragon Con, which is about a month away at this point, which seems insane. Lots of big announcements coming, so stay tuned. But until then, Ryan Schweck, thank you for coming on the show, providing your unique insight and your knowledge that is far more in-depth than anything I can provide.
Always glad to be here.
And Mike Gordon, before we go, where can we find you online? What are you up to?
Well, you can hear my nonsense every week on the Earth Station 1 podcast, and if you want to see what's going on with books and such, you can go to newlegendmike.com.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on, talking about the media at San Diego Comic-Con.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Head of Research Ryan Schweck, always on top of his game, and Mike Gordon, truly one of the greatest human beings I have ever met. What a great episode that was. I honestly believe I could get the three of us together at any point in time, and we could just crank out a great episode. So please join the Needless Things Podcast Facebook group. Answer the 3 questions. People seem to have been having trouble answering the questions lately. They're very easy. It's not a big deal. It's, can you refrain from politics? Can you be nice to other people? And who would win in a fight, Lemmy or God? Easy questions. Just answer them, and then you can be a part of the awesome conversations that we have in the Needless Things Podcast Facebook group. You can be privy to Needless Things events, like the things that are going on at Dragon Con. The only one of which I have announced thus far is the world premiere of Troublemaker as part of the American Sci-Fi Classics track Saturday night at 10 p.m. That's more panel announcements coming very, very soon. I should probably start working on my graphics and stuff now, so I'll be prepared once the Dragon Con app actually launches and is live, which I would imagine is any day now. I feel like it was July last year, although I've got to give them credit because the progress reports get out way early this year. So, good job, Dragon Con. I'm excited. Less than a month away, less than 4 weeks away. It's crazy. Or no, I guess it's exactly 4 weeks away right now. Oh my gosh, 4 weeks from right now, I will be drunk off my ass having just celebrated Nerdy New Year in the Marriott. Wild. I hope to see you guys there. I hope you can make it to the Troublemaker world premiere. I love you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Needless Things podcast. You're the best. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Downcast, or in the ears of a Trader Vic's employee. Love you. Mean it. Uh-huh.